favourite, ahead of Romeo George. Ron Duffy gave him a big rap tonight, Romeo George. Then Imperial Lodge and Coral Salute as they get set. Sandown, race 9 in 3 minutes. Blue Aviator, Monsters Inc., Dash of Burgundy, Token Night, 8, 3, 1 and 4 for the 9th. And there's the market. Monsters Inc. out of box 3 is the favourite, just ahead of Blue Aviator. The 3 and the 8, both around 280 for Sandown. Albion Park numbers are 5, 8, 4 and 3, and the time was 35:28, recorded by Big Red Rooster. Here's Ian. They're pretty close at Canterbury.
So in the last, Imperial Lodge running as the favourite in the ring, and on the tote at the moment, well, it would be 490, number 7. Dance Finale, now number 8 rather. Dan Zaber's now 560, all the late money coming in. So let's get back to the stalls, and the horses are ready to depart. 1900. Racing this time, Protective Custody came out swiftly. Coral Salute jumped sweetly. Dan Sarama not far away. So too Dan Zaber. A length into Lord of the Kings, followed by Dan's Finale. Imperial Lodge over on the rails. A couple of lengths to Arduous King, and then Quadri, followed by Brockoff, Blue Checker, and Romeo George at the rear. Protective Custody is the leader, a length on Dan Zaber as they work their way out of the straight. A length to Coral Salute, followed by Dan's Finale, a trifle wide, and a gap to Dan Sarama. Over on the inside is Imperial Lodge from Lord of the Kings, Arduous King, and then Quadri. Brockoff caught out wide, second last Blue Checker, last is Romeo George. Dance Finale works to the front now by the 1200, opens up nearly 2 lengths on Protective Custody. A similar margin third is Coral Salute on the inside of Dan Zaber, being tracked by Dan Sarama, who's got Imperial Lodge on its inside, then Lord of the Kings, Arduous King, followed by a length back Brockoff, Quadri, 2.5 Blue Checker, and 3/4 Romeo George, past the halfway and heading to the 800 marker. And Dan's Finale is the pilot from Protective Custody. Third is Coral Salute, then Dan Zaber. Romeo George is whipping right around them, but now in fact it's Dan Sarama going up to have a shot at Dan's Finale. 2 lengths Protective Custody, and then Coral Salute. Dan Zaber followed wider out on the track by Brockoff, and then Imperial Lodge. They come down the side, 450 to go, and plenty of action here. Dan Sarama and Dance Finale a length away in third position. Wider out is Dan Zaber. All the Dans followed by Coral Salute popping away from the rails, and Imperial Lodge is next, straightening up. Dan Sarama beat off Dance Finale. Here's Dan Zaber and Coral Salute, and Lord of the Kings is getting a split. Dan Zaber, and on the inside Dan Sarama, Coral Salute. Lord of the Kings, once he got the split, he rushed through it, and he will win. It's Lord of the Kings from Dan Zaber and Dan Sarama, Coral Salute. And then Brockoff and Imperial Lodge and Romeo George, Arduous King, Quadri, and then came Blue Checker. Dance Finale dropped right out, and so did Protective Custody.
Lord of the Kings, number 10, ridden by John Grisdale for Rosehill trainer Chris Waller, has won the last there at Rosehill. His only other win was in New Zealand. He's a former Kiwi. He won at New Plymouth about 12 months ago. Lord of the Kings, a big upset in the 7th at Canterbury. There's a few there for the Miners, and we'll stand by for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th for that matter, and still from the New South Wales tab with those problems they've had at Dapto tonight, power problems. Now race 5 totes have just come through. Con Air won that one from the Player and Cape Howe. The trifecta was $151.90. Let me just go back and see if those other dividends came through. Well, the first 4 on that one, 1, 2, 4 and 6 was $690.20 to Canterbury, and the daily double I think we gave you $58.90, combination of 9 and 1. So they're
a famous son.